everyone, welcome back to Treehouse Garden. It's Kimberly here, and I have a deep confession to make. I started my tomato plants a little bit too early, and I always feel like I'm behind schedule, and this year I was extra ahead of schedule. So I have some tomato plants that are definitely outgrowing their containers, and they're kind of flopping around. So today I'm going to show you, in case you're guilty of the same thing, how to salvage your tomatoes and make sure they keep growing until it warms up and they're ready for the ground. So thanks for joining me today at the Treehouse Garden. Okay, so we're in my functioning greenhouse now. This is where I have my sink and my pots, and this is where I do a lot of my planting, seeding, and replanting. And you can see behind me, I have quite a collection of pots of all sizes. So a lot of this collection I started when I was buying vegetables and flowers to put in the garden before I discovered how easy it is to grow from seed. I also was able to get a bunch of pots from my friend Jonathan, thanks Jonathan, who works at a local high school, and the high school was redoing their greenhouse, so he snagged me a bunch of pots. And I also find them often on Marketplace and Facebook for free. You can also check with your local Home Depot and nursery. Sometimes they collect the pots for recycling, or they have them to give them out for free. So keep that in mind. I like to keep my costs down low as being a frugal gardener, and so that's one way to find pots for free. Worst case scenario, Dollar Tree does sell some pots, and you can find them on Amazon also. But again, I try to find things that I can recycle and upcycle and get for free to keep my costs down low. So I have two options today. So I have a smaller one and I have a bigger one. So if I was going to have to need like a month more time, I would definitely go this route. And if any flowers started to appear on my tomato plants, I would pinch those off and just let the plant focus on growing itself. But because I have a lot of plants, because I do a plant sale, I have probably 200 tomatoes that need a little bit of attention. I'm going to go the smaller route because it uses less soil. And although the pot is not that much bigger than the one it's in, it's giving me a couple inches that will give me enough stability and room to stabilize the tomato and buy me hopefully just another week or maybe two before it's warm enough to plant. So let me show you how to put it in the pot. And this technique is the same technique you would use if you were going to plant this tomato directly in your garden bed. You want to make sure to take the lower branches off and plant the tomato plant nice and low in the dirt. So let's get started replanting one of many tomatoes that need a little attention because I was a little too eager and started too early this year. Alright, so as I go through this process, remember this is the same process that you would use when you are planting your tomatoes directly in the ground. So the first thing that I want to do is take off the lower leaves. Take it out of the pot so you can see a little bit better. This guy's pretty wet, so a lot of soil is falling off around it. Okay, so I'm going to take off those little baby leaves at the bottom. And then I'm also going to take off the next set of lower leaves. So you can use scissors, I'm just pinching them off. Now, if I was planting again right in the ground, I would plant all the way up to my main stem leaves here, because all of this underground is going to start growing roots and your tomato is going to flourish. So we're going to do it in pot right now because we're still waiting for the weather gods to behave. So I'm going to put it in my pot. I'm going to add my soil around it. Push my plant into the pot, and now I bought myself a little bit of time. So my plant isn't flopping around. It is going to start establishing some new roots, and it's just going to get stronger. So when the weather is right and it's warm enough to plant and be cooperative, then I am going to be ready with a lot of tomatoes. Thanks for joining me today, and don't feel bad if you were as guilty as I am by starting your tomatoes too early. I've seen on many garden posts that people write themselves a little note on their calendar like, don't start your tomatoes yet, it's too early. But you know how it is, you get the itch, the sun comes out, and you're ready to start that summer garden. So no worries, gardening is very forgiving, and all you have to do is upgrade to a little bit bigger pot, and you'll be ready to go as soon as the weather is ready for you. Thanks for joining me today at the Treehouse Garden.